And we are live. What up, guys? I'm Wolfie, and today we are going to talk about a few things. The latest 49 news, the up-to-date, the most recent news of them all. Talk about Robert Saleh, Brant Boyer being part of the San Francisco 49ers now. And then what should be the priority next? And I think it's pretty obvious, but we'll jump right into that, of course. And then if we have time, we will talk about the Super Bowl situation. Should we watch it? And who are you going for in the Super Bowl? We've had time to think about it, time to let it marinate, let it sink into your brain. So who are you going for? Are you watching it? I thank you, Nikita. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for joining the live. I appreciate you. Appreciate it. Hope you liked it. Val, thank you, of course. I appreciate you as always. Always OG to show up. Niners for life in the house. Sup, Wolfpack? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. And, of course, before we get into anything, we've got to jump into our sponsor, water. Because without it, I wouldn't be here today. Water's good for you. It's good for your skin. It's good for your body in general, your blood. It's good for your organs. And as Poggy would put it, it's good for your colon, good for your prostate. It's good for it's just all around good for you. And there are people out there that are just not getting water. At least go out and get a cup of water a day at least, because H2O is the way to go. All right. Papa J in the house. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Nikita in the house. Nice for life in the house. House. The house is on fire right now. Appreciate you guys. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't hit that like button already. So let's go ahead and jump into the first subject, which is Robert Saleh and Brant Boyer being part of this team. I got to say, this is the greatest start to the San Francisco 49ers offseason in recent memory. I've said this a few times already, but just to go over it. So we get rid of Nick Sorensen, right? I personally was like, if we kept him, whatever. I was like, if we kept him, what I see the argument is his rookie season, kind of, but if we got rid of him, there better be a plan. There better be a better option if we were to get rid of him. And there was. We ended up, and because of that better option, we ended up losing Brandon Staley, which is not really a loss at all, really, to be honest with you, because in the end, we got the best defensive coordinator on the market. The best possible option ended up coming to the San Francisco 49ers in Robert Saleh. And some people's concern, and I was like, is like, can he keep up with the new offenses these days? Back in the day, he was a great defensive coordinator, but how will he do now? As a head coach, he was phenomenal as a defensive coordinator. And that was as a head coach, right? We all know Jeff Ulbrich was more of a student, wasn't actually a defensive coordinator. He just had the title. It's kind of like what Clay Kubiak has of offensive coordinator for the 49ers right now. It's almost the same thing. It's like he's not really the offensive coordinator. Robert Saleh is the same thing, just on defense. He had an elite defense, stopped amazing teams, amazing offenses, the offenses that are up to date these days. Robert Saleh knows how to make that happen, how to stop them. He's innovative. He doesn't just stick to his old ways. He's constantly thinking of new ways to approach his defense, and he's usually pretty successful with it. Before he even got fired with the Jets, he was phenomenal. Held teams up to like 13, 10 points. I think he held one team to 20 points, but that's about it. Before he got fired, he was phenomenal at his job. And then once he left, you saw what happened with Jeff Ulbrich. The defense was atrocious. Wasn't nearly as efficient. Wasn't even close. Robert Saleh is the answer for the San Francisco 49ers, and we ended up getting him, which is a dream come true. And, of course, we lost Nick Sorensen, which is great. We got rid of Brandon Staley. He's not our defensive coordinator. He's gone, which is what every 49ers fan wanted. And, of course, we got rid of Brian Schneider, the worst special teams coach in the NFL. At least Nick Sorensen was mid, right? At least Nick Sorensen was mid as a defensive coordinator. Brian Schneider was just bad. He was the worst. It is something we preached throughout the entire season. If he is this bad, you might as well get the janitor in there. Get something going in there. Anything at all. Because, like I said, with Nick Sorensen, there was something. But with Brian Schneider, there was nothing. Nothing at all. He's responsible for Jake Moody, by the way. I want you to know that. It came out that he's responsible for Jake Moody being on our team. So, and the holder, by the way, that everyone else wanted to complain about, hey, maybe the holder's making him worse. And that could be true, but guess what? He's responsible for the holder as well. So, Hopefully that's all been fixed because the new special teams coordinator that we got, Brant Boyer of the Jets, it's probably because of Robert Saleh that we end up getting him in the end. Brant Boyer is fantastic. He has a track record that's phenomenal. Top 5, literally top 5 in just about every single category. The only time where everything kind of fell apart and wasn't as good was this previous year with the new kickoff rule. He was 29th in DVOA, which is terrible. But prior to that, he was either top 5, 4, 2, 2, and 2. He was phenomenal doing his job. Players speak absolutely highly of him. They love him. Pat McAfee, if you respect his opinion, speaks highly of him. Nobody talks bad about Brant Boyer and what he brings. He's only been a special teams coordinator, officially a special teams coordinator for the Jets. He was an assistant special teams coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts for 3 years, where Pat McAfee was a part of it, and so was Adam Vinatieri. So he knows what he's doing. He's probably the best possible option as special teams coordinator. So the 49ers not only ended up gambling, they gambled. Let's be real. They gambled because if they didn't get Robert Saleh, they were going to be stuck with Brandon Staley, and not a lot of people were happy about that. Most 49ers fans were not going to be happy about that whatsoever. And we ended up, the 49ers take the gamble. A lot of 49ers content creators criticized Kyle for gambling on it, taking a chance on it, saying, well, you're waiting on, we're losing this guy, we're losing this guy, we're losing this guy. Why are you taking a gamble? You might as well just take whatever you can and while you can. No, the 49ers took a gamble, and guess what? They won. Those 49ers content creators were proven wrong. So shout out to props, Kyle and John Lynch. You are having the greatest start to a 49ers offseason that I've ever fucking seen. I can't think of in recent memory one that's been better start than this. Usually there's something by now where it's controversial. Usually there's something that comes out where, oh my God, I didn't want that guy. Oh my God, why did we get this guy? There will at least be some sort of controversy, and there isn't. Like the consensus outcome has the consensus candidates we've got them. We got the best possible options. And that's just amazing. And from what I hear, just to jump into more of the news of Robert Saleh, from what I hear and what everyone's talking about based on reports from Larry Krueger, Dave Lombardi, and a bunch of other people, Robert Saleh wants to be innovative like he always has in the prior. He's always been kind of relatively innovative, always thinking of new ways and keeping up the new schemes. But he wants to go faster. And if he's able to say that and come out and say, hey, I want a faster defense, most likely he's going to have a say in the draft. He's going to have say in free agency. And that's something that we've been dying for. Like, hey, Kyle, stop dictating offense and defense. We need someone who's good at defense that can come in and you trust their word and what they have to say about the defensive line. And we got Robert Saleh, who will do exactly that. Robert Saleh is going to come into this defense and say, hey, I want this guy on defense. I want this guy, this fast guy here in the draft if we can get him, etc. That's what's going to happen. We now have a collaboration of minds. It's no longer just Kyle Shanahan's, like everyone just blaming Kyle Shanahan for every possible decision. You now have Robert Saleh who's going to be able to collab with Kyle Shanahan. You're going to have a guy who's going to be able to have a say in things. This team that there's so far that's being built, I love it. I cannot wait for free agency. I cannot wait for the draft to see what we end up getting. And this special teams coordinator that we ended up getting from the Jets as well, phenomenal. Give it, the previous year, considering the turmoil they went through, because that Jets team was absolutely atrocious. Okay, they were in turmoil. There was just bad energy all over the place, bad vibes. Not only that, the Jets special teams had to deal with five different kickers. That is a lot, dude. That's going to make your DVOA go down by a lot. That's make your extra points be bad. That's make your field goal percentage go bad. He was 20th in kickoff returns, considering the new kickoff rule. So that's not great, but give him a chance to develop, and hopefully he can adapt, because he does seem like a kind of guy who puts the work in. If he was second in special teams, fourth, second, and fifth special teams for the past like 6 or 5 years, I trust this guy, and I'm not gonna hold this one outlier year against him, right? I'm gonna take the potential that comes with this guy. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this team. He's responsible for 5 Pro Bowlers, 2 of them all pro. He's got the talent. He's got the coaching chops. We just got to hope that he's not washed. And that 1 year is what he turns out to be in the end. That's the only thing we got to hope for. Outside of that, we got the best possible candidate special teams, and we got the best possible candidate defensive coordinator. Now we got to focus on what will be the next thing. What will be the next thing the 49ers need to focus on? Obviously, it's free agents, because I feel like we already have the offensive coach. Brian Griese didn't go anywhere, so we still have that guy. We still have the offensive line coach. We still have all those coaches. On defense, however, Robert Saleh is going to be responsible for those things. So with that being said, that means Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch can now focus on free agency, the agents that we would lose in the end, right? And the agents that we're going to end up losing in the end are I got the list here. Where's it at? Let me bring it up. Share the screen. Shared screen. Hold on. There it is right there. Okay. So here are the unrestricted free agents that are notable, ones that we end up losing. Should we keep them or not? Dre Greenlaw is the biggest one, the number one guy. That's probably the one they're going to focus on the most, because Charvarius Ward has already spoken about how he has pretty much trauma being here. Totally understand by moving on with him. I'd like to have him back, but he's going to ask for a lot of money. And not only that, losing your kid here and he has that trauma, I respect it. Let him go. It's not a big deal. You got Green and you got Luter Jr. Just focus on getting a third corner somewhere else, free agency or via the draft. Talanoa Hufanga, he can go, and I feel like a lot of 49ers fans can agree with that as well, just because he is slow. He is slow. We already have two solid, strong safeties in Malik Mustafa and Jair Brown, right? So we need to focus on getting a free safety who's relatively fast, a sideline to sideline free safety. That's the biggest need, just speed. We need speed there, right? So that way we can go into the nickel packages, dime packages, and kind of just trust the situation with our free safety. So I do see Hufanga gone. That would make sense. So that's two relatively expensive agents gone. Aaron Banks, offensive line. Aaron Banks. Now, he's not that great this year. He was good, I believe, last year, but this year, not so much. And I do feel like this draft that we have that's coming our way is full of guards that will be out, that should be starters. I'm not lying. There is a lot of guards in this draft that I would much rather take a cheaper guy and a guy who could potentially be better than Banks for the years to come. I'm perfectly fine moving on from Banks. So that's three guys that we're totally don't have to worry about. Elijah Mitchell, he can go. He can come back if he wants. If we end up losing Mason, sure, whatever, that's fine. But that won't happen until free agency. I wouldn't even offer this guy to try to keep him around Elijah Mitchell. He can go. John Feliciano, he can go as well. Injury prone, older guy, time to move on. We got Pooney. We just need to find that guard in the draft. Joshua Dobbs, I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but I don't think we'll end up bringing him back. I think he'll probably move on somewhere else. But if we brought him back, I would like it. But he would probably get the vet minimum if we were to bring him back, just because Kyle Shanahan doesn't really love him that much and trusts Brandon Allen more so. Kevin Givens wasn't that great this year. I actually looked up his PFF grades. I looked up his stats. He was not very good for us, even when he filled in. He was like 100 and something in grade in run defense, pass blocking, and overall. He was absolutely atrocious. We can move on from him and try to find better depth. Evan Anderson was significantly better than him. So I think we should build off that, and so was Malik Collins. Brandon Allen, obviously, I think we should move on from him as well, because he obviously proved that we cannot win games with this guy. So I think he's got to go. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles. We have Bethune in the wings. We have D. Winters. I think in free agency, get a depth linebacker in the draft in like the 5th, 6th, or 7th round. Maybe draft a linebacker. You have 10 picks in this draft, so you could afford in the 5th, 6th, 7th round to find somebody who could fill the role of Flanagan-Fowles, who's a good special team player, but you can find that later on the draft. Isaac Yiadom. A lot of people want to say that Isaac Yiadom was not that bad, but I don't see what you guys saw. To the people who are saying he was not that bad, I don't understand it. Like, I can't remember what game it was, but like the Lions game, they purposely targeted Yiadom because he's either holding or he got beat. He was literally Josh Norman last year. I'm coming from a guy who liked Yiadom. I liked Yiadom coming into the season. I liked what I heard about him. I liked what he did in the preseason. He looked really good. But in the season, he was atrocious. Like, he got targeted on purpose because he was so bad. So I want to move on from Isaac Yiadom, and I want to, again, roll the dice on another underrated corner in free agency and try to draft one in the draft, of course. Khalil Davis, again, not that great. He is better than Kevin Givens, but he actually wasn't that good. He really wasn't. And I think D-line is something that needs to be completely like, okay, if there's a free agent, he's got to go. Free agent D-end, free agent D-tackle, they got to go. There is none that's worth keeping at that point. So I think in the draft and let Robert Saleh try to find the D-lineman. Let Robert Saleh do that. Let Khalil Davis go and let Kevin Givens go. Rock said he can go. He did absolutely nothing. Eric Saubert, I don't mind bringing him back, hopefully rather cheap. He did his part, right? Like, he's not great or fantastic. I still think we should draft another tight end to try to fill in that role for George Kittle. I do think that, but I actually liked Eric Saubert, but he should be relatively cheap. Donald can go. Gibson can go. Hopefully we can bring back Charlie Heck. I do like Charlie Heck a lot. I liked what he did in those 1 or 2 games in which he played. Like his potential. Hopefully we can bring him back on a cheap contract for 1 year, like a prove-it deal. Again, still try to approach the draft and free agency for other tackles, but he should be cheap, and I liked what he brought to the table. Ben Barch, I think he can go. Patrick Taylor was absolutely atrocious. He can go. Jalen Moore, I think he can go. Nick McLeod, probably bring him back for special teams. I wouldn't mind that. And we all know Devondre Campbell. That's not even a question. Restricted free agents, the only one that I would mind bringing back is Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason, just because someone's going to have to give a pick and probably pay him a lot of money. So that could be a possibility between that. But if we missed out on him, whatever pick we end up getting, we need to use on a running back. Just recycle the pick. Just recycle it. So if we get like a 3rd or 4th round for him, just use that 3rd or 4th round pick on a running back. Get Scatterbo, because Scatterbo is going to – we all know that speed's a big thing. And Scatterbo is most likely going to fall to the 3rd, 4th, or maybe in the 5th round possibly, and he's a stud. I would not mind recycling that pick for someone like Scatterbo, who would be someone in that situation. Curtis Robinson, he's all right. Exclusive restricted free agents, Alex Barrett can go. Jalen Graham can go. I wouldn't mind bringing back Sam O. He would be a good guy to bring back. Jake Tungus, for some reason they have a thing for him. I don't understand. Evan Anderson and Austin Pleasance, I would love to bring back. So we got Austin Pleasance, Evan Anderson, Sam O are the 3 exclusive free agents that I'd like to bring back to the team. They were fantastic depth pieces, and I like the potential that they could bring this team if they get more reps down the line. And then obviously I want Charlie Heck. So Charlie Heck would be the one I want. Nick McLeod I want to bring back as special teamer. Eric Saubert I wouldn't mind bringing back. Joshua Dobbs, if it just depends upon his situation, and then Greenlaw. So that's just 5 free agents, and none of them are going to ask for a shit ton of money outside of Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw is the only kind of outlier when it comes to free agents that's probably going to ask for a shit ton of cash. Let's be honest. If he wants top dollar, highest paid linebacker in the league, let him go. I say let him go because you can't. He's great. He's phenomenal. He's perfect for the defense and stuff like that. But if you want to go faster and you want a guy who has availability, because availability is the best ability, you have to move on for Dre Greenlaw if he wants top dollar. Now, if he doesn't want top dollar, wants like a 1-year prove-it deal where he does still get a lot of fully guaranteed money, but it doesn't like hinder us in the cap, I wouldn't mind bringing him back for that reason. But Dre Greenlaw is the only high-profile unrestricted free agent or free agent in general that I would be like, okay, let's try and bring him back. Let's really put the effort in trying to bring him back. He's really the only one I want to put that kind of effort in. The rest are really just kind of depth, and you like their potential, but if you miss out on them, it's because someone else overpaid for them. That's just about it. So those are the unrestricted free agents who I think the 49ers should bring back. And then, of course, outside of that unrestricted free agents that are going to come up, the first thing, and I mean the first thing the 49ers need to focus on, even before working on Dre Greenlaw. Before you work on Dre Greenlaw, rest of those free agents and stuff, you need to get Brock Purdy signed. That is number 1 priority in my mind. Yes, when it comes to free agents, unrestricted free agents, Dre Greenlaw is number 1. Everyone else, bottom of the barrel. Necessity at that point. But Brock Purdy needs to be signed before free agency. We need him here. We need him established. We need all that, like, oh, is it going to be this quarterback? Is it going to be this quarterback? Are we going to trade for this guy? Are we going to trade him in the offseason? Are we going to trade him in the draft? We cannot have that. We have the coaches now. Take care of the most important position in the NFL. That is the quarterback position. Sign him. I don't care what the price tag is at this point. It's going to be a problem down the line. The more months that he misses, the more days that he misses, the voluntary camps that he misses, it's going to affect the team. We need him here. We need him paid, and we know he's going to hold out. Let's be honest, right? Because he's already I can totally see him holding out, being like, hey, I want my contract. I want my money. So I love Brock Purdy and stuff, but like if he were to show up, there'd just be too many questions. Let's say he shows up and doesn't hold out, right? The constant questioning, the constant worry, the constant crap in the back of every player's mind will be there. And also in the back of Brock Purdy's mind, like, hey, am I going to be here? We cannot have that. The coaches cannot have that. Brian Griese cannot have that. And I understand, but, force him to pay on the tag. Force him to pay on his last year. I'm sorry, that's not going to work. That is not going to work. His payment is now. His time is now. He needs to get paid now. $180 million guaranteed, 150, 200, whatever it may be. However you figure it out in the end, if you end up getting conned for him, making him the highest paid quarterback, whatever, die on that hill. Die on it. Time is up. It's time to pay him. You paid Jimmy G the most. You made Jimmy G at the time the highest paid quarterback in February. What is holding you back here from a guy who's a lot more proven, who's done a lot more for the organization, who deserves a lot more considering back pay? Because if there's anyone, a quarterback that deserves back pay, it's him. Truly. Time to pay the guy. Number one priority. So that is the coaching situation with Robert Saleh, Brent Byer, the free agents that are 49ers are coming their way, and, of course, what the 49ers should do next. Next is Brock Purdy, Dre Greenlaw, and then the reserves of free agents that are left. That should be the priority next. We got the coaches. We're all established with coaches. We're good now. Quarterback. Then the free agents. I do not want to see this contract. I do not want to see negotiations go past February. That's what I want. And that's what I expect from this team to figure that out. Truly. So, and not to mention, before I jump into the comments, because we have a few other comments, because obviously I get into those, but the 49ers paid Deommodore Lenoir early. Something we never saw, none of us saw coming. It just came out of the woodwork. It was a smart move because it turns out that when Lenoir ended up getting paid, guess what? He played better. He actually played better. He played up to his contract. Right? Some say he got snubbed from the Pro Bowl because he was so good. So the 49ers need to jump on it as soon as possible because the QB market is going to explode again. They need to get in front of it. And hopefully they've learned their lesson, and Deommodore Lenoir is a thing, is of things to come. So hopefully we'll jump into that. And then, okay. So let's go ahead and jump into some comments. Got a few of them. Sorry, I had to go on my rant. Had to get a lot of things out of the way. Appreciate you guys here. Let's see. We got Papa G in the house. Niners for life. Val showing some love. That's what I can see. Michael knows. Good evening, Wolfie, Papa J, Val, and everyone in the YouTube channel. Hope everyone had a great hump day. We're having a fantastic hump day. Val shouting out Michael in the house. That's what I like to see. 49ers looking at Miami, Florida kicker in Senior Bowl. I have not looked at kickers, so I don't know too much about him. But if he's good, I wouldn't mind. I just saw your comment there too, Michael. I agree with this here. Looks pretty good. I would take him in the 6th round or a free agent after the draft. I agree. I don't think you should take a kicker 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. 6th or 7th, shoot, go for it. You got 10 picks. Shoot for the stars at that point. I agree with that. I don't think you shouldn't draft kickers, period. But I do think you should draft them in like 6th or 7th round because you expect them to start for your team, and you're getting a starter for your team regardless at the end of the draft, and you pretty much lock them in for the years to come on a very cheap contract. If you go undrafted free agent, there's a lot more hoops. You have to go in a bidding war with other teams. I agree. Just don't use a 3rd, 4th, or 5th on one. Spartan in the house. Good to see you. We're showing some love. That's what I see. Man, I don't want to see Hufanga go whatsoever. I know we have the replacements, but damn, yeah, he's a great guy, man. Like and that's one thing I want to put out there is like just because I want him gone because he doesn't match the speed that's being preached right now, the innovation that's being preached right now, because he is relatively slow. And we already got Malik Mustafa who's faster. We got Jair Brown who's faster. Okay. And Hufanga wasn't that great last year. I know he got hurt a couple times. He's coming off the injury, but when he came back, he didn't look that great. So, and I would much rather put that kind of cash that you're going to put towards Hufanga into Dre Greenlaw. Much rather do that. But yeah, I understand he's the man, dude. Like wherever he goes, man, I'm going to root for him. I'm going to wish him the best, man. Hopefully that someone on that defense that he goes to, it works out for him. You know, if it's the Cowboys, no. If it's a division rival, I won't. If it's the Steelers, I won't. There's certain teams, there's caveats to that, okay? Let me wish him the best. But if he goes to the Colts, I'll wish him the best. Do you think Breyer can help Moody or is he a lost cause? I would move on, get a fresh start, do something different. I just think you have to start over. The man's confidence is completely shot. So with that being said, now that I kind of think about it, maybe I think you should just straight move on, get a new kicker, do your thing, but maybe keep him at camp, right? You already have him. He's going to make his money regardless. So use him as a measuring stick, if I dare say, like just as a measuring stick, like, hey, bring him in. And is he outperforming the guy we bring in the 6th, 7th round? Is he outperforming the guy we bring undrafted? Is he outdoing the veteran that we end up signing if we end up signing a veteran? I would keep him around as a measuring stick, right? Use him as a standard. So it's like you kind of use him for something and you are already paying him. A lot of people aren't going to like it because they're going to think, oh, like they're giving Jake Moody a chance. But if he outperforms the undrafted free agent, outperforms the 6th round, 7th round pick, outperforms the vet, he outperforms. So then maybe in the end, Brant Boyer was able to fix him. We shall see. CG Ruthless. Moody needs to go 100%, says Spartan Vertus. Yeah, it's a bad, Isaac was underwhelming at best. Isaac Yadam, yeah, I was not a big fan. I was showing some love. That's why I like to see. Definitely the weak link in the secondary. It was obvious. 110% he's got to go. Isaac Yadam is like Isaiah Oliver. Yeah, it was up there, dude. It was definitely up there for sure. CG, I'm going to look forward to watching your interview with Bryce. Trey Brown from the Seahawks, we should sign. I have not gotten to free safeties or anything like that yet, but I've heard good things about him. Bryce is rescheduled for Friday. CG Ruthless has got a interview, so be sure to check that out. Mason Taylor, we need to draft him. Mason Taylor, I don't know what position he plays, but Saubert wasn't used much, but he wasn't necessarily bad. Yeah, I think he's kind of like a good depth piece. I don't think he's that terrible. Saubert's different. Scabado as a fullback to replace Juice. That would be bad. He doesn't have the speed, so that wouldn't be too bad. Aquanu was very versatile. We moved him all around the line. I liked him a lot. He's a very good tweener, very good depth piece. Definitely someone worth keeping. Dre is is priority number one if he wants a personal massager, free DoorDash for the season. He can get it in my books. That's absolutely funny. Cut Jake Brendel. Yes, we got to move on from that guy. He's older, not good. He's just hindering the team. He's got to go. Dump dump Jake Brendel, the bail along with Moody. Granted, with this Alabama QB in the draft, good fit for the 49ers. As long as he's like a 6th, 7th round pick, undrafted guy, why not? I have no problem with it. We do need a backup guy. We have Mordecai, of course, sure, but like if you got another guy in the 6th, 7th round undrafted, he should be cheaper than a vet minimum quarterback. So I wouldn't mind it too much. It just depends. Unless he's talking about he's talking about Milton. I don't know why we're looking at quarterbacks. That's not happening. Bell Big Cut, he signed to the Lions. I think he was a practice squad guy. Mooney just lost a pick, but just cut him and start over as a kicker. I agree. Time to move on. If he becomes good somewhere else, if Mooney becomes good somewhere else, whatever, so be it. He just wasn't good for us. It's time to move on. Should the 49ers get another kicker of the draft or free agency? I think they should do both at the back end or an undrafted. And I also think they should look at some vets too as well. There's like 3 of them that actually were not that bad. They're not the greatest, but they weren't that bad. He's a waste of space. I don't think we should use another pick on a kicker, at least without getting everything else we need. There's 10 picks. We have 10 picks in this upcoming draft. So I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't worry too much. We have 10 picks. You got 10 picks in the draft. By the time you get 6th or 7th, you could use one of those picks. If we had 4 or 5, I would understand that, but we have a lot of picks in this draft. So I don't think it would be too much of an issue. I say 6th or 7th round pick is a good shot at kicker in real life after the draft is good. Yeah. Should the 49ers get another kicker in the draft or free agency? You guys are fucking just like this kicker situation. All right. So that's clearly the biggest thing with the kicker thing from what I'm seeing based on these comments here. As I said, as I heard, I think 6th or 7th round is perfect to go out and get a kicker, one that you believe in. If you lose a good one in the 5th, 4th, or 3rd round, that's fine because you've already spent on a 3rd round pick on Jake Moody. You spent your attempt already. You've spent your situation already on Jake Moody and you failed. You cannot do that again. You can't. There'll be huge backlash. I don't care how good the kicker is. Do not use a draft pick on a 3rd, 4th, or 5th pick on a kicker. You've used that attempt already and you failed. And Jake Moody was really good in college. He had high potential. There was reasons to draft him, but it didn't work out. So you cannot use another lottery ticket like that. It doesn't matter how good he is. You've already tried it and failed. But I do think they should get either a vet to bring in to compete with Jake Moody. I don't mind keeping Jake Moody as long as he's used as a measuring stick. And his job is truly on the line. Is he actually better than the guy we bring in via draft, undrafted, or vet, right? That's the only reason why I think the 49ers should keep him on the roster is for that very reason. A camp body to compete with everyone else. Showing some love. Don't forget, hit that like button. Let's go. Is Brandon Allen on the team? I think he is, but he's a free agent, so no. We don't have any backup quarterbacks except for Tanner Mordecai. Tanner Mordecai is the only backup quarterback we have right now. I think the NFL should do lottery balls in the first round for no playoff teams. I like the idea of lottery balls too. I agree. I really do. I like that aspect. So that way people just can't tank for the first pick. And I like that aspect of it. I do. Raiders drafted a kicker the first round a long time ago from Florida State. They did, but not every Florida State kicker is the same. And they're lucky as fuck that worked out. It still wasn't worth the first round draft pick. It still wasn't worth it. But at least he was good. At least he was good. People are saying the 49ers might trade Debo. Is that true? I don't think that's true. I think he comes back. People are the cap hit is way too big. There's just way too big of a cap hit. Kyle likes him a lot. Debo towards the end of the season, started to look like a little bit of a vintage kind of Debo a little bit. And like I said, we structured his contract way too early in the season, in the offseason last year. If we didn't do that, then I would probably say, yes, we'd trade him, but we're not trading Debo. The only way that would happen, I think, is if someone gave a good pick, a good offer, and agreed to take a chunk of his salary. And no team does that. No team ever just takes a player's salary, especially when you're trading. So he's not being traded. If he gets traded, if Debo gets traded, I would be genuinely shocked. I know that some people like to talk about it. It's going to be a talking point. People are going to talk about it all the way up into the draft, but that is not happening. Debo's definitely going to be on this team at least this year. Maybe next year we'll be able to move on from him, but this year it's not happening. With the contract that he has, the only way that we would get rid of him is if we restructured his contract where we made void years down the line and the cap hit is a lot lower and we just pay him $10 million every year down the line instead of just paying the 30 whatever it is $1 million that dead cap hit that we would take from him. So I don't think us getting rid of him is a possibility. It's not in the cards. The 49ers gambled restructuring his contract last year in the offseason, and it just didn't work out. And hopefully the Debo that we saw at the end of the season after we were eliminated from the playoffs that is the Debo that we get next year, because Debo does have a tendency to have a good year, bad year, good year, bad year, good year, bad year. Last year was supposed to be his bad year, and it was. So hopefully we get a good Debo. Hopefully the Debo we saw at the end of the season was good. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to keep him. He's on this roster. Debo played terrible most of the season, everything in his favor. I see him coming back, but he needs to come back with a burst of energy and produce. I agree. I hope that last year was a wake-up call when he realized that, oh my God, I'm actually washed. Because after that Rams game, and he was like a major reason why we lost that Rams game last year. I know Brock Purdy threw an interception at the end. I understand that. But I just felt like Brock had to he felt like he really had to put his hands because wide receivers weren't getting it done. But Debo was the guy in that game, and he did not show up. And ever since that game, he woke up. He started to play good. Even though we're out of playoffs, he still put effort in and realized, oh my God, I actually do suck. I need to start playing better. So hopefully that's the Debo that we end up getting in the end. I think the 49ers are going to be back in full force, physically, mentally strong as ever. I think so too, especially that schedule. That schedule for the 49ers next year is going to be fucking insane. It is super easy. If we do not make the playoffs next year, let's just say everything that happened to the 49ers this year happens to the 49ers next year. We still go to the playoffs. That's how easy this schedule is. The 49ers would have to get worse, in my opinion. Worse than last year, this previous year, for us to not go to the playoffs. It is that bad. It's that much of a schedule. So I'd be so shocked. It would have to be that bad for the 49ers not to go to playoffs next year. Can we the Debo that assaulted the Eagles in week 13? We saw him in spurts last year. So hopefully we get that Debo next year for sure. If we miss the playoffs with the schedule we have, it's going to be DEFCON 1. It's going to be brutal. Honestly, I think Kyle would probably get fired. I think at that point, and if I can't imagine, that's how confident I am that everything that happened to the 49ers last year previously was so out of their control. It held them back so much. I don't blame Kyle. I don't blame Brock. I don't blame really anyone. The only people I really blame are Debo and the special teams coordinator, and I guess Nick Sorensen, who should have played better, even though he wasn't as bad as everyone advertised. But, it wasn't enough, right? And those three things we fixed. So I just think that coming into this year, I can't imagine it happening again. Even if it did, we should still go to the playoffs. I think at that point, you need to look at Kyle and be like, okay, you need to win. You didn't go to the playoffs with this schedule, with this team, with this defensive coordinator, with this quarterback. You didn't go to the playoffs. It would say a lot. The schedule looks easy, so it'll probably be Cancun every weekend. We'll see. Another thing is that the 49ers cannot treat the schedule. Us as fans can look at the schedule and be like, hey, this is easy as shit. This is going to be awesome. We got amazing coaches now, and we got an easy schedule on top of it. That's exciting. But the players and coaches need to treat every single game as if every single team is the best team. Can't get complacent, because getting complacent is what's going to get you killed. It's what causes losses. It's what causes you not to try hard, not to put in full effort. It causes you to act like Debo Samuel because you're being complacent. The players, the coaches cannot treat this easy schedule as an easy schedule. They can't do it. This season was ugly as much as went wrong as possible. As long as it doesn't happen, I don't see anything. Exactly. This previous year was so brutal, was so atrocious. I've never seen anything like it. I've yet for anyone to bring up for someone went through the same thing and made the playoffs. Everyone blames, I've said this 1,000 times during the season, but everyone blames the 49ers 2020 season on injuries. Why can't you blame it on this one too? Because not only was it injuries, it was so many other things. So this season coming up, everything's looking great. Everything's looking fantastic. Everything's looking up right now. We just have to get Brock Purdy signed, nail free agency, and nail the draft. And at that point, smooth sailing. It's if we do those things, that's all within Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's control. At that point, it's all on the football gods and the effort the players put in at that point. If they nail free agency and they get at least 3 starters out of 10 picks they get in the draft, they should be good for next year. They should be set. So, all right. So, those are the comments. We talked about Robert Saleh, Brant Boyer, and what's next. Let's jump into one other thing I kind of want to look at that I do find interesting, free agent-wise. Let me get rid of this real quick. I do think that this would be a great pickup, but the problem is he's going to be expensive. And if you want to pick him up, you got to let go of Dre Greenlaw. Because this 49ers team could possibly pick up maybe one good player that's more than just good, but great, possibly elite. They have the cap space this year to afford something like that. Even if Brock Purdy gets paid, that's going to get backloaded. They have $60 million in cap space. So Brock Purdy's contract most likely is going to be like $15 million against the cap this year, leaving them with $45 million. So that means they could possibly sign one more very valuable free agent. Some people want a center in Drew Dahlman. I wouldn't mind that. He has a little bit of an injury history, but it's not that bad. It's nothing compared to Ryan Kelly, right? He has the ankle issues with Drew Dahlman. That's about it. High ankle, he had an high ankle sprain last year, has a couple ankle injuries, but that's fine. You know, I just feel like that's by chance. You can recover from those injuries. It doesn't change your it doesn't ruin your career. You know, those kind of injuries you can avoid. So it's not like a knee injury or a tear, for example. So Drew Dahlman, I think, should be the number one priority going into free agency. Getting a center, an actual starting center, I think is the number one priority. But if you miss out on Drew Dahlman, you can get someone like Ryan Kelly. You can get someone like Coleman Shelton from the Bears, who's a starting caliber center according to PFF. Not going to ask for a shit ton of cash. Not going to ask for starting money, right? Not going to ask for top dollar. So if you miss out on Drew Dahlman, I would not mind getting Justin Reed from the Chiefs. That dude is good. That dude is good at his job. He's fast. He's a reserve kicker, by the way. He's a kicker. He can make field goals. He's done it before. So he could do that. He's versatile. He's fast. He's instinctual. He's amazing. He's good. But the problem is he's going to ask for top dollar. Justin Reed is going to ask for top dollar money, so he might be without reach. But if we can get someone like Justin Reed and then get someone like Coleman Shelton to cover the center situation, right, who's not going to ask for top dollar, if we miss out on Drew Dahlman, I do think that Justin Reed is probably the next guy to fill in that spot. Because if you do that, if you go out and you get Justin Reed and you fill that free safety spot, you're relatively covered in the secondary. You're good with the secondary. You still need to get a corner, but that's more like a draft thing or a depth piece kind of type thing to play third corner. But Justin Reed will be your starter. You have Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, so your nickel will be fucking insanely good. You're probably set up for like the best nickel in the league at that point. It just depends on how much money he wants. It depends on how much money he's going to demand in the end. That's what's really going to come down to. And he's going to ask for top dollar. A lot of people are probably going to go after him. He's going to make a lot of money. I know safeties don't make a lot of money. Safeties aren't the highest paid positions in the league. I want to say Jesse Bates got like 14 million or something like that, 15 million or something. So it's doable. It's doable to get a free safety that's instantly going to solidify your secondary. So if we don't get Drew Dahlman, who's going to cost about the same amount of money as Justin Reed, by the way, Drew Dahlman is going to ask for about, because the highest paid center right now is $18 million. Is $18 million. So you're going to need to get someone who paid 19, 20, 21, 22. It's going to be somewhere around there. Drew Dahlman's going to get paid that much money next year. And if we miss out on him due to a re-sign, if we can't get Justin Reid, I would say getting Justin Reid is the next priority after that. I would love to spend $20 million on Justin Reid because you got the rookie in Green. You already paid Lenore, right? You got Jair Brown on rookie deal. You got Malik Saffold on rookie deal. You could kind of afford it. And again, it's not going to ask for $30 million. It's not a pass rusher. It's not a tackle. It's not a quarterback. It's not a skill position of a wide receiver. They're not going to ask for $30 million. You could possibly get Justin Reid for $20 million a year. Possibly. Depends upon the bidding war. I don't think you should go too much into it. I don't think you should go too far into it. There is a line to be drawn when it comes to how much money you should give him, of course. But if it was $20 million, I would pay Justin Reid that. He's that good. He is one of, if not the best free safety in the NFL. He's fucking amazingly good. So Justin Reid would be awesome. I do like this this potential move brought up by Kylie Posey of the Niners Nation. I like the idea of it. I think Justin Reid would be a great move. It would just have to be that one major free agent because you can get a D tackle because the biggest issue with the 49ers has been D tackle and D end when it comes to the run. It's not pass rushing when it comes to the D tackle. It's just run stopper. There's plenty of run stopping D tackles who are not good at pass rushing, but I have a list of them here that I'm going to actually make a video later of D tackles the 49ers should pursue in free agency. I'm going to make those later, but there are some that are not going to ask because they're not the best D tackles, right? But they're quality. They're starter D tackles. There's some out there in free agency that are good, that are top 30 in run stopping, that are top 30 in pass rushing. There are some D tackles out there where there's potentially, and there's usually 2 D tackles on a squad at once. There's usually 2 D tackles on the line at once. So that means if you get a D tackle who's from first all the way to 64th, that is basically starter potential D tackle. And there are a few of those in this free agency class. That's not going to break the bank. D end wise, I've yet to look into D end. That's my next thing I'm going to look into. But D tackle, there's some affordable D tackles who can stop the run and also rush the passer. That's not going to cost you $20 million to make you break the bank. Or it's not going to ask for the highest paid D tackle money or anything like that. They're not going to be Chris Jones. They're not going to be Aaron Donald, right? They're not going to be Christian Wilkins, okay? But they will stop the run, basically, according to PFF. So, and D end, you need to. I'll look into that. We'll find someone in the edge setter and D end. That's not going to cost you a lot of money there either. A guard you can find in the draft. I have no problem doing that. Also find a tackle in the draft because there's not many tackles in free agency that's going to be good. There really aren't any tackles in this free agency. Maybe Ronnie Staley, who's had an awful year, right? Maybe take a gamble on him. Alaric Jackson from the Rams has a high grade according to PFF. Okay, that's one tackle you can look at. That's only 2. There's only 2 tackles that I actually relatively like in free agency. So I say go to D tackle in free agency and pick up 1 or 2 of these guys who's not going to ask for a shit ton of money. They'll fill in that hole of run stopping and even pass rushing. So, yeah. So, D tackle's job isn't to stop the run. I disagree. It's a pretty big deal. I don't know why the edge's job is to rush the passer, while the inside is to stop the run. And stop the run has been the biggest weakness for the San Francisco 49ers. D tackle's main job is to control the line and stop the run. Rushing the passer, there's a reason why D tackles rarely get sacks. There's a reason why they rarely get other things. They're there to hurry the quarterback. They're there to sometimes hit the quarterback, but their main priority is to stop the run. I don't know where you heard it's not their job to do that. That's actually wild. Not gonna lie to you. So let's go ahead and not to mention, let's say it's not their job to stop the run. Let's say it's not their job, even though I don't know why you say that. Let's say that's not the case. The biggest weakness for the 49ers wasn't pass rushing D tackles. It wasn't pass rushing up the middle. That wasn't the problem with the D tackles. The problem with the D tackles was stopping the run. They could not stop the run. They couldn't do it. They could not control the line. So, heard I played, they filled the gap, and linebackers are also responsible. We're responsible for both. Linebackers also are responsible for filling in the gap and also covering tight ends usually. Two things can be true. Two things can be true. Two jobs can be responsible. D tackles are responsible for controlling the line and stopping the run. Linebackers are responsible for filling in the gaps and coverage within the intermediate passes and behind the line. Mainly the running back as well. D tackle's job is not to cover the running back. D tackle's job is not to cover the tight end. D tackle's job is not to hit the gaps. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's wild. That's wild. I never heard anything like that. So Hargrave is a pass rushing D tackle. He's a pass rushing D tackle. James Hopkins in the house. He says, "Go Chiefs, let's fucking go." That is one more thing that we'll jump into right now. The last thing we'll jump into that I got here, which is the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Super Bowl real quick. Who is it that you guys got in the Super Bowl? Oh, okay. I thought I lost them. Who do you guys got in the Super Bowl? Who are you going for? Who do you want to win in the Super Bowl? I got a feeling a lot of 49ers fans are going Eagles. I got a lot of people are going Eagles in this situation. Deebo Samuel's going Eagles. And here's what he had to say. They beat me twice, so I got all the reason to hate, said the popular 29-year-old wideout. Wide back, if anything, but it's the Chiefs and the Eagles. You know, I got a love for both, hate for both, but you know, I got all the love for my brother AJ Brown. They are really good friends over there, so I definitely want to see him win. I definitely don't want to see Mahomes get the third one. So yeah, I'm rocking AJ and Saquon for this. With this one for sure is what Deebo had to say about that, and that's who he's going for in the draft. Will you guys be watching the Super Bowl? Because obviously this is two of one of the most hated fan bases in the NFL, right? Probably one of the most hated teams the 49ers have. Truly. It could be who couldn't gone to the Super Bowl on the NFC side was literally anyone from the NFC West, Cowboys, and Eagles. And one of those ended up going into the Super Bowl. So who am I rooting for in the Super Bowl? Who do I want to win in the Super Bowl? I'm still conflicted. I still haven't really made my complete decision yet. I have plenty of weeks, but I've made it known that I'm leaning Chiefs. And hear me out. Hear me out why I'm leaning the Chiefs. If the Chiefs win, it does not affect me. If the Chiefs win on the AFC side, yeah, they've beaten us twice in the Super Bowl. Whatever. We should have played better in the Super Bowl. We should have done something. We should have been a better team in the end. And we didn't do it. We didn't win. You know, we faced a dynasty. And if this team wins another Super Bowl three-peats, that's a dynasty. We lost to literally the best team in the NFL. We lost to the dynasty in the NFL. And like same thing with the Bills. Same thing with the Ravens. Same thing with everything else. And I know you guys are not going to like this. I know you guys do not like the fact that I'm leaning towards them. I get that. However, the reason why I'm leaning that way is because if the Eagles win, we as 49ers fans are going to hear nothing, and I mean nothing, for the entire offseason, for years to come, or hopefully a year, when Brock Purdy wins his Super Bowl, Kyle Shanahan wins his Super Bowl, we're going to hear nothing about the comparison of the Eagles were able to get it done, but the San Francisco 49ers couldn't do it. So Hurts is better than Purdy. Sirianni is better than Kyle. The negative 49ers content creators out there are going to have a field day. And I'm constantly going to hear the comparisons. I'm constantly going to hear how Purdy's not good enough, but Hurts is. I'm constantly hear how Sirianni is good enough, but Kyle Shanahan he was able to beat the dynasty, but Brock Purdy couldn't. I don't want to hear that. I don't. I mean, that's absolutely I feel like you guys should totally agree with that. I don't understand how anyone wants to live in a world where a horrible fan base, and I'm exiting out Nikita, because Nikita is actually a good person. Nikita is a good person. But let's be real. Most of that fan base is terrible. They've won one Super Bowl, and they're like the worst unbearable fan base on the planet. Okay? And you're constantly going to hear, even from Eagles fans, they're going to go out of their way. Not even just negative 49ers content creators. You're going to hear it from Eagles fans across the fucking social media platform. How the Eagles are better than the 49ers. That's all you're going to fucking hear. 49ers content creators who grift are going to say the same thing. Rub it in your face. But if the Chiefs win, I don't hear that. If the Chiefs win, I hear, okay, guess what? They lost the dynasty as well. Twice. We lost the dynasty twice. They lost the dynasty twice. You're in the same boat. The Bills lost the dynasty 4 times. Ravens done it too and everything. But if the Eagles get it done, it doesn't matter. It literally, Hurts can go 1 for 20. Hurts can go 1 for 20 for negative fucking 15 yards. Okay? People are still going to say that Hurts is better than Brock Purdy. I can't do that. I cannot. I'm telling you, it's going to be unbearable. I'm warning you, it's going to be unbearable. It's going to make every other fucking 49ers fan become cynical. And then they're going to start eating into that shit as well. They're going to start becoming negative. They're going to start looking at the Eagles and comparing the 49ers to the Eagles, being like, hey, why can we do it when they did it? And that's all you're going to hear. I would much rather them three-peat. But the only thing that's giving me pause is the fact that they do three-peat. The fact that I'm rooting for the Empire to win. I just can't. That's the only reason why. There is literally no other reason. If the Commanders win, sure. Heck, even if, who was it? I'm trying to think of some other teams that could have possibly gone to the NFC Championship. But literally one of the teams that would be compared to the 49ers all offseason would be that. But the Chiefs doesn't affect us. We already lost the Chiefs. It doesn't matter. What they say about the 49ers, they're already saying it. So if they three-peat, it doesn't affect us at all. We don't have best friends on the Eagles like Debo does. We don't have freaking Saquon's probably the only one, but he's already been vindicated. Man went to the NFC Championship, and now he's going to the Super Bowl. I'm already happy for him. So I can't bring myself to logically go for that team. So I just don't, and I know, and again, I know people like that. I went from viewership of 13 people all the way down to 6 because they don't want to hear this shit. I understand. I truly do. It was very hard for me to come on here and actually admit this because I knew there'd be backlash. I knew people wouldn't like it. But I'm just being honest with you. And I don't want to lie to my wolf pack. I don't want to lie to you guys and pretend to go for a team that I'm not going for. I want to be an honest channel, and I want to be honest with you. These are the reasons why I'm going for that, why I'm leaning this team. And if you guys go for the Eagles, I understand. I'm not going to be like, you guys are stupid. How dare you? Why would you root for the demise of the 49ers and like the whole bullshit of the 49ers? I wouldn't do that to you guys. I wouldn't. I understand where you're coming from. But I'd much rather, I'm just being honest with you and say that I'd much rather see them three-peat. That go through as a 49ers content creator all offseason up until the point the 49ers actually win a Super Bowl. That kind of bullshit. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Well, that's the whole point. The whole point is narrative. You're going for the Chiefs because they're now a dynasty. And now their narrative is that they're the greatest dynasty ever. So it's all narrative. All of it is, because it doesn't affect you. If the Chiefs win, it doesn't affect you. It's just the narrative. It's just the narrative of the Chiefs winning. That's it. While the narrative and the drama that's going to be put forth to you is different. You're literally going to have a bunch of fucking people bring forth to you problems, bring forth to you arguments that are absolute bullshit. Trolls. You're going to have trolls galore brought forth to you. If Chiefs win, you don't. You don't. And it's all narrative. All of it's narrative. Because none of it affects you. Doesn't affect the team. Doesn't keep us out of the Super Bowl next year. It doesn't give us a loss this year. Right? It doesn't remove us from a playoff situation if they win. It's all narrative. Exactly. So it's all narrative. Whether you go for the Chiefs or the Eagles or not. So that's why I'm leaning. That's my argument. And if someone else can present to me another reason why, if someone can give me another reason why I should go for the Eagles instead of the Chiefs, I'd like to hear it. I hate them both. I'm Christian McCaffrey. I wish they both can lose, but they can't. One of them is coming away with the trophy, whether I like it or not. So that's where I'm coming from. And I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to be wrong on narrative rather than the film. That doesn't matter. This is not on film. It's the narrative. There is no other reason. It's all narrative. Chiefs or Eagles. It doesn't matter what it is. It's always going to be narrative. The thing is, the difference between the Chiefs and the Eagles narrative is going to be thrown in your face, while the Chiefs one is not. So that's my opinion on it. That's what I have to say about it. I love you guys. I'm sorry, but that's how I look at it. And most likely in the end, that's what I'll end up doing. But it's just so hard to have to actually pick a team. And will I be watching the Super Bowl? Because that was like the main question in the situation. I probably won't be watching the Super Bowl. I really honestly won't. I don't want to. I would rather hear from Nick Wright where I could choose. I would much rather Nick Wright of a show that I don't have to watch. Narratives that are not going to be presented to me. A show where he's already full of himself. And if he gets a three-peat, whatever. Doesn't affect me. However, if the Eagles win, it's constantly going to be presented to me. It's constantly going to be in my face. There's nowhere I can run. There's nowhere I can go. But the Chiefs win, Nick Wright, who fucking cares? He's already full of shit. He's already living the dream. The Chiefs could lose the Super Bowl and it would do nothing to affect Nick Wright. It would do nothing to his narrative. It would do nothing to the dynasty. They already solidified themselves as a dynasty. It's already done. It's over with that. So there is no reason. I'm just saying. And again, I like Nikita. Respect. This is not a shot at Nikita. I respect her. She's part of the Wolfpack. I truly do wish her the best. If the 49ers, if the Eagles end up winning, I will be happy for her. That's her team. She's shown nothing but respect in these lives, so I respect it. But me personally, that's where I'm coming from. So, yeah, that's my opinion on it. I'm kind of ending it on a high note, and that was very hard for me to admit on your guys. I want you guys to know that it's not something I wanted to admit and come on and say, but I want to be truthful with you. I wanted to be honest with you guys. That's my whole thing. Okay, if I don't believe in something, I'm going to tell you I don't believe in it. If I think a player in the draft is better than the other, I'm going to tell you I think another player is in the draft because I think that. I want you guys to come here to know that I'm not going to purposely pick a side or purposely say something to benefit me. Okay? That's what I hope that you guys get from that when I tell you this. So, anyway, I'm going to bounce. I got to get going. An hour and 5 minutes into this show. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hearing me out. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the support. I probably got some dislikes on this video. I hope I didn't, but I probably did in the end. But thank you guys so much. We talked about Robert Saleh, Brant Boyer, what's next for the 49ers. We went through all of that, the free agency comments and what you guys had to say. Later on today, I'm gonna put out a video either later on today or tomorrow morning. I'm gonna put out a video on free agents, D-tackle free agents. The 49ers should go after in the free agency. Did you talk about Flacco? That's right. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that another live, right? I'll talk about that another live, maybe tomorrow or the day after. I'll talk about that. But just real quick, I'm all for it. Just as a quick breakdown, I like it. I'm all for it. The dude's a vet, right? You know, if Brock Purdy gets hurt or goes down, he would be able to win in games for us. He'd be able to fill in. He's got that magic. I wouldn't mind bringing him, and he could teach something of Brock Purdy a thing or two, you know, right? So that's a quick evaluation of that situation. I'm all for it. I like the idea, and I don't think there would be a quarterback controversy between him and Brock Purdy. I would not see that. I don't think that would happen. I don't think out of all, I know I'm jumping into it, but I think out of all the quarterbacks 49ers could possibly sign, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, all those quarterbacks, if they were to come in and play backup, Joe Flacco, all of them would not cause controversy. I don't think anyone would be clamoring for Joe Flacco. So I'm all for that. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it all. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all's opinion. I respect your guys' opinion. I hope you respected mine as well. We went through Robert Saleh, Brant Boyer, what's next. We went through the free agents, which you guys had to say comments-wise, which is the kicker situation. We went through the whole entire kicker situation. And then we talked about the whole Super Bowl situation of where I stand and why I'm going for a certain team. And I understand where you guys are coming from, why you're going for a certain team. It's all love up in here, guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being part of this. This entire stream is nothing without you guys. This entire channel is nothing without you guys. And I am completely humble, and I appreciate you guys making this channel just the best thing that's ever fucking happened to me. I fucking love this channel, and it's because of you guys. Thank you guys so much. To people who watch this later, sub if you haven't subbed already. Helps me out a lot. We grow together. You become part of the Wolf Pack. You become part of the conversation. And we don't give you shit for having an opinion that you disagree with. We'll hear you out. We'll play with you. We'll joke a little bit and be like, what the fuck? But we're not going to be like you're stupid and start calling you a dumbass just because you have a certain opinion. We're not going to do that to you. We respect you here in this Wolfpack situation. Like the live. If you like what I had to say, I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, like the live as well. Helps me grow. Helps a video go out there. Helps the conversation grow. It's just fucking amazing. So thank you guys so much. And every single like makes my 49ers heart grow from here to here. All love, fam. I'll see you next video. Bang, bang, not a gang. Bang, bang, not a gang. Bang, bang, not a gang. Bang, bang.